Hi guys, Tracy here, and today I'm going to be making a video about these American Crafts Thickers Alignment Guides. And I've been using these for a couple of months now, and I've wanted to share with you guys my thoughts on them and talk a little bit about how I have incorporated these tools into my workflow. And if you follow my channel and watch my process videos, you have probably seen me use these several times in the past couple of months. I really do love working with them. And I just wanted to mention before we get started that I noticed in the latest edition of Scrapbook and Cards today that we have some new thicker alignment guides that are available. So they have them in hexagon, oval, and circle, and I think I'm going to pick those up because I really love the first set that I have, so I'm going to buy these the next time I am shopping online at a place that sells them. So I also wanted to thank American Crafts for sending me these guides. They did send them to me free of charge, but my opinions in this video are obviously my own, and I hope that you find this video helpful. So, first of all, they come in this really thick, heavy-duty envelope that holds them all in one place, and I have been just shoving them all in there when I'm not using them, except for the straight one, because the straight one is the one that I tend to use the most, and so I usually just put it right up at the top of my workspace and just leave it there so that I have it handy. These ones I use quite a bit less frequently, but they're definitely very handy to have. And so one thing that I wanted to show you about these is that they do come with the little film, and I left the film on them so that I could show you that they come with the little film that sometimes when you buy various things that are made out of acetate, they come with the film on one side, if I remember correctly, yeah, one side, and that just keeps them from getting scratched up before they get to you. But you can just pull that off, and I would recommend that you pull it off because it will start to come off from just having your thickers stuck to it. It will, and so I haven't done that with all of mine, but I did it already with my large one, my large straight one, because that's the one that I've used the most. So I will take a few minutes and take the acetate coating off of the rest of them after I do this video. So the package comes with some instructions, and so I'll encourage you to take a look at those, but I'm actually going to show you how to use them. So in the package you get 5 alignment guides, you get 1 straight line guide, and then you get a large wave guide and a small wave guide, and you get a large arc guide and a small arc guide. So these are all of the shapes that you get in this package. And this will help align your letters on a wave or on a curve. And I sometimes use just the curve in place of this or this, depending on, you know, the angle of the curve is a little bit tighter on these wave guides than it is on the arc guide, even the smaller arc guide. So I have used, you know, this side or this side. The angles are slightly different, so you end up with a nice assortment of angles. They are made out of a flexible kind of a plastic, and the line guide, and all of them actually, have a center line, which is very helpful for finding the center of where you want your title to go. So there's the center line right there on this one. And so what that does is it allows you to, if you wanted to center it on your page, for example, you would just center the ruler on your page. But let's say you had scrapbooking over here and you wanted your title to be over here, then you would just center this. I would just eyeball it, but you could measure what space is left here and make this center line line up with the center, and then you can spell your thicker title out from the center. So for demonstration purposes, I'm going to use this card as a stand-in for where my layers would be. So this represents where my photo and layers and embellishments, a large cluster of scrapbooking stuff, because I don't have a page in progress for me to use for demonstration purposes right now. This card was made by one of my talented viewers, Christine, so thank you to her. not only for giving me this really adorable card, but also for allowing me to use it for this demonstration. So let's say my title is going to be Hooray. So I'm just going to take my thumbs and go in one, and I've got OR is the center of that word. So I'm going to put O right here. And I'm going to put R right here. And I'm sticking these to the ruler, not to my layout. So see how that is? Then I will just keep on spelling backwards and then forwards. So let's grab another O. So as I was placing these letters, I was just making sure that the tips, that the bottom edges of the letters were all hitting the same little line. And I really like that this ruler has so many horizontal lines on it, because it means that for tiny little stickers, I might not want to use the second line. I might want to use the first line, for example. So it's nice to have all the different lines there. And I also find that having the vertical lines right here going up so often, it really helps me keep my letters straight, so that my H, for example, doesn't end up looking like this, because these lines here help me keep it nice and straight. So there we go. Now I can audition this around on my page in different places. I can try it, I'll just zoom out so that you can see me doing that. I could try it here, I could try it here, I could put it back here in the place that I had originally wanted it to be. But when I'm ready to place it, I make sure that it's straight by first lining up my paper on my grid mat, like this. And then I line up my alignment guide with one of those lines right here. And so I'll decide where I want it to go relative to my cluster of embellishments, and then I just make sure, once I decide where it goes, I just make sure that I am straight this way. So now that it's all straight, I just hold down, I press down on the letters so that they're sticking to the paper as well as to the alignment guide, and then I just pull the alignment guide out, and sometimes one of the letters just kind of wobbles down. That's okay. Just pull it up if it wobbled down when you placed it. And now we have a perfectly placed title for my imaginary layout about ice cream. Hooray for ice cream. So let's say I wanted to do a title that had 2 rows of text. So here I've decided to change my title to Hip Hip Hooray. And what they recommend you do is start with the bottom row of words, and then you can place your subsequent rows of text using this grid. And so I'm going to zoom in even a little bit more, so that you can see I can stack them right on top of each other if I wanted that crowded look, or I could put one little square of space between them, or I could put 2 little squares of space between them. I could use 3, I could use as many of these as I want, and I kind of like the look of it with 2 spaces. And so what I'm going to want to do here, I've already lined up my letter stickers, and this time I lined them up on the first line instead of the second line. And that's just personal choice. You can do whichever one you want. I find it easier to get them to stick on my paper and stay put by using just that first line. So I'm going to decide, now here I can decide, I can pull my other imaginary layers over here, and I can decide if I want it aligned over here. If so, I will use these lines to help me decide where it belongs, or I can center it by finding, again, the center of the word hooray, which is between the O and the R, I already know, and then I can just place this. See how the center is right there in the center, and then I can just place this like this. Then I'm going to pay attention to how many squares, especially if I have another line of text that will go up here, because then I can position that first line of text to be lined up properly. So I pay attention here and I say, okay, I want 2 squares between my letters. So I'm going to put these down right here, flip out my alignment guide, and then we have hip hip hooray. It's all centered. And then if I wanted another word above it, I would just do the exact same thing and just take note and make sure that I put 2 lines of space between that line and the hip hip. So let's take a look at how we would use one of the wave or curve alignment guides. And for this one, I'm actually going to use this set of foam word stickers. These are from the Wild Thicker set. And they're these beautiful white foam letter stickers. And one of the things, they're word stickers, not letter stickers. But one of the things that I really love about foam word stickers is that you can change their shape. So they come on the sheet in these straight lines, but because they're foam, you have some flexibility. So I have already pulled this one off the sheet to make it easier for me to do this demonstration video. But normally you'd have to take a little bit of care in pulling this off in a way that nothing gets bent or torn. And I just leave the I behind for now, and I'll place that later. And now I want to think about where is the center of this word. And again, if I use my thumbs to go in, 1, 2, 3. So the center is between the T and the A. So I'm going to place the T right here, right by the center line. I'll zoom in a little bit for you. I'll get that out of the way just so it's not a distraction. So I'm putting the T right there, and then I'm going to bend down the A, N, and F like that, and bend the T, I, C like that. And now this fantastic is on a curve instead of being straight. So if I had a circular item, I wanted to put this above, it would follow that circular shape. And then I just place it down like that. And the foam letter stickers are really easy for releasing from these because they're flexible. You just pull them up like that and release them from the alignment guide like that. I'm always very careful when I'm using foam letter stickers with my fingernails that I don't get little indents in them, because that is something that can happen pretty easily. So now I have this fantastic, and it's set out on a really pretty curve, and I can just add the I right there to the dot to the I, and I'm all set to go. So I also wanted to show you that you can use these guides for tile letter stickers and for small letter stickers. So I have a set of letter stickers right here that are shaped instead of tile, and they're tiny. And so I'm going to use the wave guide here to spell out a phrase. I just had the word guides on my mind because these are alignment guides. So I'm going to write guides is fun, and I mean girl guides, but also these alignment guides are fun too. So these are tiny letter stickers, so I am just using the top line. I could even use halfway to the top line if I really wanted to. And notice how this time I'm not starting on the center because I just want this to kind of go free fall. It'll land where it lands. So now I'm just going to very carefully place these on, And it is a little bit trickier to do this with small letter stickers. So I'm going to start by just kind of trying to get them in place. Just stick them down to the paper really, really well. And then I'm going to very carefully pull and release. Not the whole sticker like I just did, but just the bottom parts. And so it can help to just kind of put one finger on this part that's stuck to the paper so that the paper doesn't release. Like that. Release each one individually, holding the letter in place. And then I just slide my fingernail up to release the sticker from the guide. There we go. And now I can pull it right off like that. Now I just go back and I put these in place. Make sure I dot my I's. Fantastic guides are fun to use. Now let's put some tile letter stickers on here. So the E is in the center of the word E, these. And so let's start with, I don't necessarily want to be on the center of the guide. I want to be on the center of this really steep curve. So let's take an E and put it right there. So now I have these spelled out in tile letter stickers, and it's on a pretty steep angle here. It has to be steep in order to be able to see it on these tiny little letter stickers. And I'm just going to nestle it right in here. And I'm going to do the same thing where I'm using my thumb to hold those down and my other fingernail to just release it. If you don't have long fingernails, you could use a little tool here, but there we go. So now I have my title, which says, "These fantastic guides are fun to use." And then I have this hip hip hooray over here just for good measure. So these are just some examples of how you can use these alignment guides from Thickers to line up your letter stickers either in a straight line or on various curves. Really, really fun. And I just wanted to mention that you can also use these for non-thickers. So let's say I wanted to run a banner in my top corner here. I've used this pennant punch to punch a bunch of triangles out of scrap papers here. When I add my adhesive to these, I'm going to make sure that I have a little bit of adhesive at the top to make sure that there's something for the banner shape, the triangle, to stick to my alignment guide. So I can put that like that. I always have trouble making my banners look nice on a page, so I always find that they start off at a nice angle and then they usually end up changing angles midway through my design. So now that my banner is attached to my curve, my arc guide, I can try it out in different corners. I can decide for myself where I'd like it to go, and I think it looks cutest right up here in this top corner. So now I can just attach these all down and use my fingers to hold them down and just wiggle the alignment guide out from under like that. And now I can either add some sewing, take this to my sewing machine and add some sewing along here, or I can glue down some twine to just finish off that banner. So I hope you guys have found this helpful. As you know, if you follow me, I've been using these alignment guides for quite some time, and I really do find them handy tools to have. They also have a really great price point. I found them on Amazon for $8.46. I don't know if that's Canadian. No, I think that's American. So I think that, you know, for under $10 to be able to have all of these alignment guides, and this one in particular I reach for all the time, I just think that these are great tools to have in your stash. A lot of people have been asking me if now that I have these, will I be giving up the waxed paper? If you follow me, you know that I like to use pieces of waxed paper like this for laying out my titles and then deciding where they go on my page. I do still plan to use wax paper, and I have been using wax paper along with the alignment guides, and sometimes I'll kind of like lay down my title really quickly on a piece of wax paper like about this size, leave it on that wax paper and then design around it, and then at the last minute I'll pop them onto this tool, line them up, and then put them down. And so I do still tend to be using the wax paper, and I also like using the alignment tools as well. So it doesn't have to be either or. These two can work quite well together, and these could also take the place of the wax paper. I just like being able to cut down my wax paper to exactly the size of my title so that I don't have something big and clunky laying on my layout while I design around it. So I do still use the wax paper, but these are definitely worthwhile, and I've incorporated them into my workflow and have been using them. You guys have seen me use them quite a lot on straight titles, but not too long ago I got a chance to use them on this banner. It's a perfect opportunity to use it if you have these banner stickers in your stash, which they come with a lot of different collections, and I think this is the one that no, maybe not. So what I did was I just kind of kept I think I used this one. So you just check the angle. So I'll zoom in so that you can see what I'm talking about here. So I had the banner sticker, and I had letter stickers that I wanted to put to spell out 5 bridges. And so this small curve one ends up being the right angle to line up perfectly with this shape. But I kind of tried out different ones. Like this one is the angle is too strong on this one, or too small or too big. I don't know. It's the wrong angle anyways. This one works okay. Actually, I think I might have used this one, if memory serves me correctly. This one is perfect. As you can see, it lines up just perfectly with that. And then I just layered my stickers on there and put it on. And you can check out this process video if you're looking for it. It's called First Day of School. It's on my channel. So thanks so much for watching this video about the Thickers alignment guides. I think they're really awesome and very helpful to have as a tool. It's one of those things that you'll be happy that you have them when you reach for them. So especially the curvy ones, because I can't tell you how happy I was to have it when I wanted to put a title on this banner sticker. It just made it so much easier. So thanks so much for watching, and have a really great scrappy week.